Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Andrew Tolentino.
I'm Dan Hitt.
And today we're busting a box of 2011 TRISTAR Obak football cards. This is a product, Dan, that's been out for quite a while now, as you said earlier. And you actually busted open a box. What are your thoughts on the product so far, before we actually get into it?
Well, it is a interesting product in that it's quite different than most mainstream products you might expect to, collect these days. TRISTAR holds no licenses from any of the licensing bodies like the NFL or the CLC, which is the college licensing organization, or any of that. So the authorization and the licensing is through the players themselves.
Right. So you got a lot of old school guys in here.
Players. Yep. So there's a heavy emphasis on
60s, 70s guys.
No, even before
War.
that, like pre-war
okay.
era. Mainly because they're easy to license, or don't have to license those guys. But so it spans from the very earliest days of football, in the 1800s, even all the way to present day. So it's an interesting history of college football and pro football, mainly college football. There's some real early pioneers in the game of football and innovators in the game of football. That some of these guys have never had cards before, so it's interesting from that perspective.
George
I like
Clooney
the style
from
and
Leatherhead
design
is
of
in
it.
here.
I like the style and design of the cards.
Yeah,
very old school looking.
Yeah,
you're showing the T4 cabinet. If you're a fan of Texas football history, especially college football, this is definitely a product you will find interesting.
There's also some, as I was just showing off here, some kind of oddball cards in here.
There are a few non-football people,
trivia
subjects in here, but most of them have some sort of tie to football.
Yeah, so this says Sperry was the author of the classic children's book Heidi, etc., etc.
The Heidi game.
Okay.
Exactly.
Johanna and Heidi made their mark in football history on November 17th, 1968, during the Oakland versus New York game. So there we go.
So some of these have very loose ties.
A little bit of a stretch, but there we go.
And so they did the same thing in baseball with like beer company owners and the inventor of the hot dog and things like that.
Yeah,
so.
if you like go back baseball, you're going to like go back football.
Nixon there. So that's kind of cool to see. Former president in a football uniform.
Yeah, there's several. John Kennedy, Dwight Eisenhower, several former presidents who played football. Gerald Ford, of course.
I've got a Lombardi Mini here. Very cool. So I appreciate a set like this.
Are neat. They're one per pack. Guys that I was talking about who's never had a card before, A.E. Staley. Probably never heard of this guy, but he was the first owner of the Chicago Bears. So he was a early pro football pioneer, and there's a lot of early college football pioneers as well.
Very much
in here. And again, some of those guys have never had cards before, so I find that pretty interesting because I'm kind of a football historian, amateur football historian. I like reading about the game.
Here's Sammy Baugh, somebody who is in any football historian's playbook. I've neglected to show off my hit here. It looks like I've got a Johnny Latner here, Heisman Trophy winner, and it looks like
Notre Dame great, former Notre Dame.
Absolutely, he's playing some football in the cornfields, maybe, I don't know. But it's a signature on a sticker. You can actually kind of see some of his the above autograph on there. Otherwise, the sticker actually looks really good. I think on these cards, it's kind of framed pretty nicely, but unfortunately, it's kind of cut off.
It does. Yeah, TRISTAR's got a different kind of sticker that they use for autographs, and I think they look really good too. Yeah, the backgrounds you mentioned are all they're I don't know, they're unusual, strange. I'm not sure. There's all kinds of descriptions you can put for them, but basically they're
odd locations. Out of nature somewhere.
A bunch of nature, outdoor scenes in the background.
They all appear to be in the fall somewhere. We've got some autumnal colors there. Kurt Warner here this looks akin to a turkey red card that you might see, but he's again playing in a field somewhere. I don't know where the rest of his team is or what happened, if there are some alien abductions or something like that going on. Princeton Brothers. This one is actually numbered 11 of 75 here, so it's a limited edition mini here.
Yeah, that's a good example of the early pro and college football days that I'd mentioned. The Poe brothers were famous playing at Princeton. Mm-hmm. They were descendants of Edgar Allan Poe, the author.
Okay.
One of the brothers is named Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
Arthur Poe was probably the most well-known. He was All-American several times. And he is one of the guys that's interesting. He's never had a card before. He's in the College Hall of Fame.
That's kind of something nice to see out of a set like this. A lot of the more contemporary sets are obviously focused on rookies and more recent.
You're going to learn a lot about the history of the game just by looking at the cards and reading them. The base set is broken down into a number of themes, and one of the themes is former players who actively participated in the military in some sort.
Okay.
And a couple of these guys have never had cards before. Several of them pretty famous football players. One of them is Jack Loomis, who was a Medal of Honor winner. He was played for the New York Giants, and cool. At the outbreak of World War II, joined the military, and actually was killed in action on Iwo Jima.
Beyond that, I have Yale Larry here from Texas A&M, which is not the University of Texas at Austin, but it is an autograph. Again, a sticker autograph. You can kind of see the TriStar background. This one is not really cut off. It looks great on there. My 2 autographs
and we
here.
Should mention, unless I'm mistaken, we should receive 4 autographs.
4 autographs per box.
There should be 1 cut.
Here's another. Here's my autograph that I pulled in my half of the box. Ozzie Newsome.
Sorry.
There you go.
Darrell K. Royals Stadium at the University of Texas at Austin. Very cool to see that. I have a feeling, Dan, that you're right about some maybe subconscious Texas-leaning type of action happening in this product.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact.
I'll show you Roger Staubach, and again, there's several pro football players. Of course, Staubach was a great college player as well, but he's shown in his Cowboy uniform here. So
right. Because it's a guy that you don't really see in any sets nowadays, and that's Jay Novacek. He's a Cowboys great.
Yeah.
He's a beloved Cowboy, at least in the Dallas area.
Still is, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. He might not be on everybody's radar, but that's a cool thing to see in a product, a player like Novacek that you wouldn't really see elsewhere. But I appreciate his inclusion in there. Looks like a cut photo, autographed photo. I'm assuming something like that.
Yeah, it is. I'm not a big fan of cutting up a photo or something that otherwise has an image on the back of the autograph that's going to be cut up. But I will say that there are quite a few cut autographs that are on white paper or a single color paper that you would more commonly refer to as a cut autograph. I think Obak's a fun break.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that there's a lot of that there is a value for a product like this to be out in the market. And I mean, Jay Novacek, again, not on everybody's radar. Probably most people would call him a B-list player, but it's nice to see his inclusion. And of course, you've got all these legends. So it gets a thumbs up from me. So this is 2011 TriStar Obak football. It's out now. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dan.
We'll see you next time.
Adios.